everybody.
Hi, Dad.
Hi, Daddy.
Daddy.
Welcome to the Sam and Ryan channel. If you're new here, hello. Like and subscribe to become an official member of Daddy. Thank you. Today's video is another episode of Versus.
And I'm Ryan.
Oh, did I steamroll you introing yourself?
You forgot the I'm Sam and I'm Ryan.
I'm so sorry.
It's a classic part of the Sam and Ryan intro. How will they know which one of us?
How will they know who is who?
Yeah.
My name is Sam.
My name is Ryan, and welcome to Versus. This is a show where we talk about things from opposing points of view. For example, man versus woman, Marvel stan versus Marvel hater. And today, we're bringing you influencer versus actor, apropos to our individual job descriptions.
That was such a great, host voice
delivery.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Sam and Ryan YouTube channel.
Welcome.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our hosts, Samantha Fekete and Ryan McCartan.
Hi.
Is that your host voice? Is that your host face?
Yeah, I'm totally going to book hosting gigs, right?
Oh, now we know why you're the influencer.
Wow.
Oh!
Okay. Shots already fired.
I will be taking the stance of actor because that's what I do. I've been acting since I was 8 years old. I've been on Broadway, I've been on television, I've been in movies. I've done all the things. I love my job. It is the thing I'm probably most passionate about in the entire world. And that's kind of my story and my stance.
Amazing. I am Sam or Samantha, and I will be taking the stance of influencer because, as you said, that is what I do for a living. I work at High Five Studios, where I'm the production manager of a YouTube channel. I run my own Instagram accounts, and I get those sponsored gigs.
If you haven't seen one of these videos before, we have this magnificent bowl filled with questions we've written on strips of paper and cut up 5 minutes before we start rolling.
Yes, of course.
And these will guide our conversations. I have selected the first question. Samantha, are you ready to begin?
I am.
Let's play Versus! You see just spit everywhere? That's
Yes.
on Broadway acting right there. Do you think you could do the other person's job?
Wow.
So, I'll be honest, yes, because I do. Could I be production manager at High Five Studios? No. But it's not production manager versus actor, it's influencer versus actor. So in the idea of can I market myself on social media? Yes, because unfortunately that is part of what an actor is nowadays. Could I do it as well as you? And could I do it comfortably? The thing that I'm so impressed with you, I get so jaded with social media. I hate it. I understand that it's part of what I do. I understand that it's a great tool and I'm really lucky to be in the position that I have. All of those things notwithstanding, social media really bothers me. I feel myself getting addicted to it. I feel myself having, it just really bothers me. And you have a really good balance of engaging with it in a professional way in the sense of it being your job without you hating it like I do. So could I do it? Yes, because I do it. But do I or can I do it to the caliber that you do? No.
I think my answer is kind of, but not at the caliber that you do it. Not at all. I moved here to pursue some acting and did a little bit of it. So it's can I do it? Sure, I think a lot of people can act, but with the talent and passion that you have, no. Could I step onto Broadway tomorrow? No, I think you could. So my answer is actually going to be no, just because I think I don't think that I could be an actor the way that you are.
Well, it's interesting though, because you can act, but you can't be an actor.
Yeah.
I can engage on social media, but I can't be a production manager at High Five. It's
or a full-time influencer.
Well, I probably could. I don't know if I would be as happy about it as you are.
Sure.
But I probably could. But the point that I'm making is the derivative skill set I think we both possess for each other's jobs, but the height to which we have taken our individual jobs is a level that probably neither of us could get to if the positions were reversed, which is just interesting.
Yeah.
Well, what a great first question. Let's hear from our sponsors. Can we put an ad break right there? That'd be really funny.
And we're back.
Oh.
It is time for the next question. I love the tradition of just
I know, but I whiffed that so bad.
All right. Whose job is better? I think... No, sorry, my brain is just going through all the this is why I think this one's better, but this is why this one's better, this is why this one's better. But
right, I mean, these questions are purposefully ambiguous and they're overly simplified, they're reductive, yeah.
I am going to say that my job is better because I have been able to find consistency in my job, and I think if I was an actor, the lack of consistency and stability would be really hard. I just think the lack of stability would really throw me, and the internet isn't all that stable, but I think that I'm able to get more constant work than you are as an actor.
Yeah.
You said it yourself the other day, I get so many packages and things just sent to the house, or I feel like there's always, in a conversation that we're having, there's always a little bit of me going oh yeah, I need to remember to post that thing so I get paid by this day. So I'm very happy with the stability that my job has actually given me.
From my side of things, yes, things are more consistent, absolutely, and but that's only one piece of the puzzle. Living your life on a straight line is really cool. I think one of the actually benefits, and so this might be about personality type, but one of the benefits of my job is, yes, nothing about my life is a straight line, and there are a lot of times where I dip under that line, but going over that line is starring in a movie.
Yes.
Being on Disney Channel.
Yeah.
Starring in a Broadway play. Recording an original cast album.
Yeah.
That stuff is
oh, it's unbelievable.
You know what I mean? And so it's right, the lows are really low, but the highs are
so high.
Out of this world. And so it's I think a lot of actors are adrenaline junkies. I certainly am one. And the sink of not having consistent work is really tough. But the adrenaline hit of, in 1 month, I'm going to be on Broadway.
Yeah.
Next week, I'm going to start filming a movie.
Oh, I'm sure it's amazing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I totally see all of the perks of being an actor, TV, film, stage. I mean, that's why I moved to LA to try to do that.
To your point about consistency, though, I think you also have consistent eyeballs, which is definitely an asset. As an actor, because I make music on the side, we have our YouTube channel, whatever.
Yeah.
When I have other projects that I'm doing kind of in the interim, no one thinks of me as the person who's doing those projects, and no one's really engaging with my content. People don't really care about what I'm posting on social media unless I'm posting behind the scenes at the Gershwin, behind the camera shooting Rocky Horror, on the set of, the TV show that I just got. That's the only time that people engage with me, because that's the way that they think about me.
Yeah.
Whereas the way that people think of you is a lifestyle influencer. I can check in with her every single day and see the type of content that I want to see, and that gives you the opportunity to promote brands, to promote other projects. You have aspirations of writing a book. When that happens and you release it, people will already have their eyes on you. Whereas I kind of have to oh, okay, now I'm doing a movie, so now I'm going to promote these other things too, because
hire
people
a
are
publicist.
actually exactly. And so, those are different conversations too.
Yeah.
I think we're going to get into that a little bit later. But
we are, and yeah, it's also just so interesting because the thing that really excites me about this job as an influencer is there are a lot of those highs that have been created by other influencers, what you were able to do or be gifted as an influencer, that bar just keeps raising and raising and raising. You're seeing influencers who are getting free trips to Greece for 2 weeks, and all they have to do is post a picture on Instagram tagging the airline that took them there.
Yeah, I mean, if what you're saying is that there's so much more to being an influencer than just consistency.
Yeah.
No, there is a lot to being an influencer that has a lot of perks, and I think we're going to get to that in a minute with some of these other questions.
And also, it is a lot harder than it looks too.
Absolutely.
It's not just being an influencer is only having to remember to post this thing. But yeah.
No, they're both businesses, and with each of them comes very specific skill sets, very specific rewards, and very specific curses.
Yeah.
But in a pandemic world, you have had consistent income this whole time, and I have had to really scrape a living together because...
And also become an influencer.
Right, and exactly. Like, fall back on these social media numbers that I got as a consequence of being an actor and be like, oh, okay, Sam, tell me everything you know about how I can actually do something with these.
Yeah.
Because that's not my skill set. Now I'm developing that skill set, like and subscribe to our channel. All right, next question. Do you think social media following translates to ticket sales?
Oh my gosh.
So like we were talking about just a moment ago, like there
Yeah.
is a lot of crossover between social media and acting. We see a lot of influencers transitioning into theatrical careers. We see a lot of actors transitioning into social media careers. You know, like there is definitely a lot of translation there. I just think this question is so funny. I mean, because we're seeing now SAG-AFTRA, the union that represents film and television workers and stuff like that, has now sort of opened up to influencers. Now, the way that this usually works is if you work on a certain amount of television, you sort of build up points, basically, and once you have worked enough, then you can pay a fee and join the union. But now the union has added these like social media criteria where if you meet certain thresholds on the social media side of things, you waive all of that necessity to accrue a certain amount of work and you can just pay the fee and get into the union. And so they're ushering in this era of social media stars becoming film and television stars by eliminating that hurdle. That being said, however, I kind of think it's sort of a cheap move from the union because it costs $3,000 to join this union. And if you have no experience and you're a bad actor, but SAG-AFTRA is saying, I mean, you can join and see what happens, and this is just someone with a lot of money but no ability, they're going to pay it, get into the union, audition like crazy, not book anything, and SAG-AFTRA is laughing all the way to the bank.
Yeah.
To this question, though, I'm actually uniquely experienced to talk about this because I have worked on 3 projects where they cast people exclusively based on their social media and then say, this social media numbers is going to equal this many eyeballs on our project so we can slash our promotion and advertising budget in half because this is going to do it. All 3 of those projects flopped. As a matter of fact, one of them put the production company out of business. They went bankrupt because they counted on this number strategy so much. So I would say no, that it doesn't translate to ticket sales, but I know that, you know, Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Rae and all these people are getting movie deals now. Like, I know that Hollywood's going to keep trying, but I have literally been a part of 3 examples where that has proven not to be the case.
And it's also, just as a consumer, just such an eye roll when you see that. Like if you're watching something that could potentially be good and then like, oh, there's the social media person, and it's kind of like, oh man. Like honestly, this sounds a little bit mean, but it feels like it cheapens it. Are there social media influencers who have made a successful transition into acting? Yes. Are some of them good? Yes. It's not like if you're an influencer that automatically makes you a bad actor. Like that's not the case. But so many people in Hollywood have just given influencers jobs because they think that the number by their name is going to equal ticket sales, and it just flops, and guess what? They were bad. Yeah.
Well, it's a skill gap. I mean, in the same way that Charlie D'Amelio doing 0 movies ever in her life probably means that Charlie D'Amelio being a lead of a movie is not going to go well. Ryan McCartan just getting 100 million TikTok followers overnight, they would all be extremely disappointed because I wouldn't know what to do with them.
Exactly.
You have to ramp up to your success and earn the attention that you're getting in the medium through which that attention is being received. Thinking that you can drag and drop people just because it's all under the umbrella of entertainment is quite foolish. A painter is not a good dancer, and a dancer is not a good painter just because they're both technically artists. We need to be more nuanced than this, and it's just rich white guys saying, well, let's see, I see a number here, and this must mean something because I have a niece who's on TikTok, and she knows all about her, so that means everyone will care. It's not the same thing.
They don't equate.
Right. Adam Driver doesn't even have social media.
Exactly.
And he's an incredibly powerful actor. So these things aren't mutually exclusive. I think people think that the Venn diagram of these 2 things is a circle. It's not. There's a lot more nuance to this.
Next question. Oh. Who has the most power kind of like you talked about before, I think influencers have more eyes on them all the time. You can post a message, it will immediately get pushed to your audience, and that message will be seen and heard. I feel like actors, if they're successful enough, have a lot of power in other ways.
Yeah, I think influencers have high levels of consistent power, reach, attention. I think actors, when they're working on high-profile projects, have a considerable amount of power.
Oh, yeah.
And then I think when actors are not working or are not working on high-profile projects, they don't. So in the same way that my adrenaline goes like this and your life looks like this, I think the power structures that our jobs give us follow those same types of lines. My power is very consolidated, a lot, but very circumstantial.
Yeah.
And your power is pretty high and pretty constant.
Yeah.
And one could make an argument, and I think they'd be right, that that's maybe better in the long run. Because it's consistent. You know what you're getting.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
That your power is based on you, and my power sometimes is based on what I'm working on.
What you're working on.
Yeah.
Interesting. Next question.
Is it me?
It is you.
Wanted this big, thick boy.
Oh, yeah.
What credentials do you need to do your job? I think you need a lot of experience and a lot of training to be an actor. However, there are so many actors, and not just like influencers who made the crossover, but there are a lot of actors who have no experience and just sort of have that kind of it factor and never went to college, never studied. I think film and television is a lot more forgiving with that because you can sort of edit around it. I think theater, you really sort of have to have those practical skills because you can't really fake it on Broadway. You know what I mean? You can't really fake it in high-profile theater. You can't fake it 8 shows a week. I think you need to be incredibly credentialed to do this at a high level. That isn't always the case, but I think it is probably the case more often than not, considering who the greats are in my industry.
Yeah. So I don't think you need any credentials to be an influencer. We've seen this with people who blow up on TikTok or Instagram or Twitter for no reason. I think anybody can be an influencer. Now, can anybody take the following and turn it into a business? No. There is another skill set that is required there. Do you necessarily need to study business in school? No. I think you need to have a lot of experience with social media.
Right.
I think you need to know your platform.
And you need to study the trends. You need to study the algorithms. Those things just aren't taught in school. Those things are learned by savvy teenagers, looking through the analytics on their pages.
Exactly. You need to learn the app, learn your audience, and learn what you offer to people, and learn how to market that. For me, the kind of tech-savvy, figure it all out on social media side of things has kind of come naturally. I think a lot of it has to do with my personality also, because look at what my other job is, a production manager at a social media company, basically.
But managing people, having those relationships.
Managing people, working on those relationships. Also just with my job at High Five, learning how to market things to an audience, being really tapped into that. So do you need credentials to be an influencer? No. I mean, look at all the people who have gotten famous for the wrong things, like the Cash Me Outside, how about that girl?
Or people who have gotten famous for nothing. Alex from Target.
Yeah, Alex
you know
from
what
Target.
I mean?
Just doing absolutely nothing. And they became full-on influencers. So it's do you need a degree? No.
That's that.
Yeah. Okay. Who makes more money?
Funny.
Funny indeed.
We should have a graph because, again, it's you are sort of a straight line and I am sharp waves.
And every now and then I get a little buddy deal in my DMs that is a woo. But there's still just a consistent income.
And obviously, I think influencers can get to the point where it's all of a sudden something comes down the pike and you're going to make $100,000. You know what I mean? But that's kind of my life. I am either not employed or I am on a 6-figure movie deal, a 6-figure Broadway contract. So I think that I have more money than you.
Yeah.
But I think you make more money
I
than me.
make more money. But that
especially now with the pandemic. And that could all change.
But that could all change. Like, if you book a movie deal next week, you definitely make more money than I do.
Right. But then in 4 months, when that movie stops filming, I have no income. And you continue to chug along.
Yeah.
So it's sort of that I think the thing that we've learned the most about this is that it is consistency of opportunity versus scale of opportunity.
Oh, what a nice way to summarize it.
Like and subscribe.
No, we still have one more question.
All right.
So, Ryan, take it away.
All right, here we go, Daddy. Last question of this week's Versus. And it is...
What is it?
What's the difference between your social media accounts?
Interesting.
Yeah,
because like you were talking about, obviously a lot of actors also have a big following on social media because people see them in a movie and want to go see what they're up to. But I think the biggest difference is that for me, people are following me, for my personality, for the content that I post daily, just they are following it for me.
Yeah, people are following me for the roles that I played.
Exactly. For the roles that you've played or for the projects that, they saw you in. I think when people find my Instagram account or social media pages, they just stumble upon me and decide if they like me or not and then follow me and grow to love me there.
Right.
But with you, I think people search up your name after seeing you in a TV show or seeing you in a movie or seeing you in a Broadway musical. And so they end up just following you for your jobs.
Right. Or, if Instagram feeds you to someone, they'll be like, oh, she's cool. This is a lifestyle thing. I like her personality. I'll follow her. If TikTok feeds me to someone, it's like, oh my God, that's Diggy.
Yes.
Oh my God, that's JD.
Yeah.
So then they follow me, but then if I'm posting some political rant or like, hey, here's my new single, they're like, I don't care about this. I want you to sing Meant to Be Yours.
Exactly.
You know
Whereas
what I mean?
for me, if people are following me for me, anything of mine that they get pushed, they're like, oh yeah, this is why I followed her.
Right. And also, so the difference between our social media accounts, I have 1 million followers on Instagram. I have 600,000 followers on TikTok. I have a lot more followers than you, but your retention is higher, your engagement is better. You know what I mean? Because it's that constant thing. But then if I were to announce, I'm playing the king in Hamilton, it
would blow up.
100,000 people would engage with that. But if I'm just, this is a day in the life, the same kind of content that you post, no one cares when I post it. People love it when you post it because it's what they've come to expect from you.
Yeah.
Not to sound weird, but we kind of know where these conversations are going when we
plan the video.
We kind of understand how we're going to curate these questions to get to the points that we want to make. But this conversation actually surprised me in a lot of ways. It's so funny. I think we just sort of take for granted our positions in the world and each other's positions in the world. We haven't really sat down and had a nuanced conversation about why we're different and how those differences affect us and whatever. It is kind of nice though, here's a project that we're working on because of your talents and your resources. A lot of being an actor is being unemployed and finding ways to fill that time. And I wouldn't be able to fill the time with a project like this that I'm really passionate about and that people really enjoy. If we didn't have your resources and your skill set. So it's nice to see how our individual jobs really actually cooperate and how the Venn diagram of those two things actually, we talked about at the beginning of the video how it kind of works against art in a lot of ways, but in our case, it really works in our favor. What a nice way to sum up the video.
What a nice way to end the video. Guys, as always, be sure to like and subscribe.
You guys.
Thank you so much for watching this video. I really hope you enjoyed it. If you have any ideas for future episodes of Versus, be sure to comment them down below and we will check them out.
Also, by the way, YouTube.
YouTube.
We'll see you on the next one, you guys.
Yes.
Thank you so much for joining us. Goodbye, Daddy.
Bye, Daddy.